Welcome to Civil War Digital Digest. I'm Will, working in conjunction with Griff from Spared and Shared. Today we're going to bring a letter to you and bring it to life. We're going to meet Edward Wade of the 14th Connecticut and learn how he made coffee under a special circumstance. Well, before we dive into this, let's say thanks to two groups of people. First, our patrons, the CWDD Coffee Grinders. They support us on Patreon with a little bit of money each month, or they save even more with the annual option and go ahead and help us make this possible financially. We also want to give a shout out to the sponsor of this show, History Fix. History Fix is a history-centered streaming service that's focused on telling stories out of history, whether they're movies, short films, whether they're documentaries or how-tos. In fact, if you're enjoying this, you might enjoy the Military Tradecraft Swim Lane. Check it out. Well, let's dive into this story with Edward Wade and Company F of the 14th Connecticut. It's May 21st, 1863. The Second Corps has fallen back, and camps near Falmouth, where the winter quarters are, where the Army falls back to after the Battle of Chancellorsville. Edward writes home to his wife, and thanks to voice actor Scott McKinley, who does the audio versions of Spared and Shared, we get to listen to this story. Let's hear what he wrote.
Ellen, I have had the best cup of coffee tonight that I ever drank. I want you and Jenny to try it and see if it isn't beautiful. Fill your cup with coffee, then put in a piece of butter about as big as a walnut, then some milk, then break an egg, put it in, then sweeten it to your taste. Put in the old crusts and go ahead and drink it down. By jolly, ain't it good? If eggs weren't 80 cents a dozen, butter 70 cents a pound, and sugar 18 cents, a soldier even might enjoy himself. But no, it won't do for them to enjoy themselves. They must be content with salt pork and hard tack. Well, it will all come out right after a while.
Normally when we prepare programs for you, we test everything ahead in order to get the experience of the family back home with what Edward wrote. I haven't tried this. So I've pulled coffee off the fire. We've made coffee several ways, and there's other programs that you can learn how to make a soldier's coffee. We're working in garrison, so we use the coffee a la Zouave for 10 men. We're going to start with about a walnut size of butter. As I stir that in a little bit, it says to add milk and then to crack an egg in. Now, during the 19th century, eggnog is common, so people are used to having eggs in their drink. It's not as common today, but it's something they would have known. It's going to be a new taste for me. Let's see what it is. Sweeten to taste. Okay, there's multiple types of sugar. Today, we've got maple sugar broken up. Further research is ongoing out of our world as to what the best type of sugar is, but we'll use this today. I'm not a heavy sugar drinker, so I'll just take 1 spoon and go from there. Continuing to stir, I know from previous work that this is about a pint of coffee. When I fill it up to this line, not something the soldiers would have cared about, but as I'm making things, it's good for me to know. Edward's letter says to put the crusts of old bread in. So we've got a few, put it in, and then we'll taste it. Well, okay, butter, milk, egg, sugar, in that order, with bread in here. First time for me, I'm a black coffee drinker. Let's see where this goes. That's actually really good. I'm surprised. I'm not picking up much of the egg, but by the time you put milk and butter and sugar in, you're going to sweeten the dickens out of a coffee. I don't think I'm going to get to the bread here right away without some help. Take all of that and dip a piece of bread in it. It's actually pretty good. I'm not always a sweet coffee drinker, but if you're sitting in camp and you're used to what Edward talked about, you talk about the salt pork, you talk about the hardtack, this is going to be a change. And as we've spoken about before in different programs, sometimes different is good for the sake of different. Well, thanks to Griff and Scott, thanks to Spared and Shared, we have a chance to take a letter out of history and see what gave solace for a couple of minutes to one veteran from the 2nd Corps. I hope this has given you a chance to think about something to try as you forge a greater connection to our American history in the Civil War era. For Civil War Digital Digest, I'm Will. We'll see you next time.